holding Simin Nun Hey,
No.
Sif Chav Gimel.
Let's see here.
I don't think we finished the Simin.
What page?
Page Reish.
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 Yeah.
Page Reish. Sif Chav Gimel. So last week we spoke. Now this week is going to be a new Inyan. Last week we spoke about in order for people to be part of a Minyan, the Minyan has to be in one place. If you can see the person, you see the people, they're also considered part of the Minyan. Because seeing makes that the two places connect. Because the 10 have to be in one spot. So if they're in separate rooms, if you see each other is good. If you don't see each other, it's problematic. You cannot be mitzaref to the Minyan. As well for Chazan.
In the kitchen.
No, it's kitchen is not. It's separate.
Separate room. Someone's in the
Even
kitchen.
here, in the back here.
But if some people can see him,
If the window is open, let's say, and then it's
yeah, and some people over there could see him, so then it's
It's
good.
okay.
Right, we don't all have to see him.
Mm-hmm.
But in a Chanami, yes, someone's going to say, I'm in the kitchen, it's okay. No, it's not okay.
not covered.
You have to tell him, come into the Minyan.
Right, but if he's in the same room, even if you can't see him, but he's in the same room, it's okay. You don't have to see him because he's in the
Like
same
in this
room.
corner on the left side.
Yeah. Maisa, another thing that's negaya for is not only tzira for the minyan, is also being yoitza the chazan. Let's say you have 10 people, but the shliach tzibur is the 11th person. He's in the other room. It's also not going to work. He can't be moitzi. The shliach tzibur, the shatz, cannot be moitzi yidei chava of all the minyan unless he's together with them in the same room, or you could see each other.
What
Just
is
like
doing in
the-
the other room? Everybody here is Shliach Tzibur here. He
know.
wouldn't go there.
I don't know. He's too cold. I don't know why.
No, it's not logic. 8, 9 people here, and he's...
But, however, one thing we said last week in the ending of the shir was that this is all regarding those two inyanim, whether you want to be mitzaref into minyan or the chazan. However, you can always answer amen, kedusha baruch hu. You don't have to be in the room. You don't have to see. You hear. You could be a block away. You hear kedusha baruch hu. You can answer. However, there is an opinion which holds that if there is in between the two areas, there is tsoya, there is excrement, or there's avodah zara in between, you cannot answer kedusha baruch hu. Even though you hear them, you cannot answer. And the Alter Rebbe says, lahalacha, one should be concerned, and lachatchila should not answer to kedusha baruch hu or amen in such a situation. Now, huh?
How does a rabbi?
It's closed. It's closed. So it shouldn't be a problem. It's covered.
Yerushalayim,
If it's covered, it's not a problem. By the way,
It's a-
it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell. If it's covered, it's soya. It's not a problem.
Only if you see it. Or smell.
L'chora only if it's not covered. If it's covered, it shouldn't be a problem. Now, l'chora l'gabi minyan, l'gabi being part of the minyan also, you don't have to be in the same room. If there is already a minyan there, and a chazan, and you just for some reason want to daven in another part of the room,
It's part of the minyan.
you're part of the minyan. You consider davening with a minyan.
So you can answer everything.
Yeah, not only and you're considered part of the minyan. However, you're not. Yeah, if you don't daven in the shul, you don't have the advantage of davening in a shul. There is a special mile of davening in a mokum tefillah. A mokum arena tefillah. There's a halacha that even if someone is davening by yichidus, not a minyan, better he should go to a shul.
There's some people that daven in the women's gallery when the minyan don't see it.
Yeah, so that l'chorah shouldn't be doing that unless for some reason.
Most people davening over a sick person, for example, or person is in a shiva. In this case,
If someone's in a yeshiva,
Yes, Shiva, Sidin Shiva.
Oh, okay. No choice is no choice. We're talking about when someone has a choice. When someone has when someone's able to, it's not a chiyuv, it's not an obligation. If someone's able to, it's better to daven. The tefillah is more makubal davening in a shul, even if you have no minyan.
Yeah, I ask my question like this. If, for example, someone is in a Shiva, it's of course a mitzvah to daven with him that he has a minyan and so on and so on. From the other side, like you say, mitzvah davening in a shul. What's mitzvah bigger? What I need to do really?
So he can't leave. He can't leave the house unless he has no minyan. If he has no minyan, then he'll come to shul. But if he has a minyan in his house, he doesn't have to come to shul.
Yeah, but what do we do? We should go to his house. We should have in the shul.
Oh, should we?
That's another question.
It's a good question.
Yeah, this is really my original question.
You asking to leave the shul. You have 9 people and it's sitting Shira. To leave the shul and to go to his house. This way they be together and it's time for them.
Yeah,
He cannot leave, so they live to him.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Unless you're there, unless you need to be there, if they don't need you, then you talk about it down in the shul. If they need you, then you should go. But if they don't need you, you should talk about it down here. Maybe you need to be there because you need to menachem oval, whatever it is. Maybe you need to go, so then you have a reason to go. But if not, better to stay in the shul. Okay, Sivchav Gimel. We're going to finish the Siman tonight. Some interesting dinim, which were common those days. Sivchav Gimel. Ir she'im ba'al asara, a city which only had 10 people. V'echad mehem roitza lotzis v'Yomim Noraim, and one of them wants to leave for Yomim Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. He wants to go somewhere else. He wants to go daven somewhere else.
To a good Chazan.
Yeah? Or he wants to go to his Rebbe, wherever he wants to go. You can force him to stay. You can't ruin the minyan. Or you could hire someone instead of him. You could pay someone to stay in the city, to go to the city and be there instead of you. Why? How can we can force him? All around in the goyla, wherever Klal Yisrael is, shafilu oisim shelam minyan shalom kol hashana seichem echad Hashem Yomim Noraim. The minig is everywhere that whoever that even though there were small villages and towns where there was no minyan the whole year, but Yomim Noraim they made sure to have a minyan. What would they do? Seichem echad Hashem Yomim Noraim. They would hire 1 or 2 people to come in Yomim Noraim to be in their city, or that whole city, that village, would go travel to a nearby bigger city, and they would have a minyan. So a lot of Jewish people, for whatever reason, they were stuck in other villages for their business purposes, and they weren't able to down with a minyan a whole year. When it come Yomim Noraim, they would all come to come in, or they would hire. So since that's the case, since that became the minig, it's compared to a Sefer Torah, Obeis HaKnesses, and a Shul Shemnei Ir Koifen Zazah. Alter Rebbe is making a comparison. It's based on earlier poskim, from one of the earlier Yeshayim that Maram Rottenberg and Meir Rottenberg. The halach is in Gemara that one is allowed when you have a city of people and there's no shul. You need to build a shul. Some people can say, I'm just not going to participate in the shul. I'm not going to daven in the shul. So I don't need to pay.
Good for me.
No. Say no. You are obligated to help build the shul. You have to help fund the shul. As well, if the kehillah does not have a Sefer Torah, we can force everyone to participate in paying for the Sefer Torah. If there's no Sefer Torah. Huh?
Or to call the Torah.
Yeah, the Torah Gemara, you can call him.
You can force them to pick up the phone and call the Torah Gemara. They actually have to own the Torah most probably. You can force them to actually own. Not going to be enough the Torah Gemara. Now, Lamaisa, so similarly to that din, one of these Shonim compares that din to the minig. Hayois that the minig became. That Yomim Noraim, every kehillah and Klal Yisrael davens with a minyan. No matter where they are, Hashanah and Kippur, they daven with a minyan. So it's similar to every kehillah having a shul, a Sefer Torah. You also need to have a minyan, Yomim Noraim. So therefore, this person cannot leave town. He's a 10th person. He can't leave town.
Kofim that's a very
Yeah.
very
Those days
sharp
we had a
word.
kehila. There was a kehila, and the kehila had a koyach, a strength, a power. Say no, you can't leave, or you'll have to pay.
He
You
has
can
to
hire.
pay
He
the
has to
kehila.
pay. No, he has to pay to hire someone to come instead of him. Avol, imhim yud aleph. What happens if it's 11 people in the city? Yochel echalotz is one person can leave then because it's a minyan. They'll say, listen, we don't want to have a minyan just 10 people.
Mit Tzumtzum.
Ve'ein choishish in shemi yitzarech echalotz in the kavov b'sarchol lahamtin. Maybe they're going to say, oh, maybe someone's going to go to the bathroom. We're going to have to wait for him. We don't want that. We want you to stay. So he said, no. Shimkein ela davar slave. If so, there's no end to it. We don't go that way because if you have 10 people, you have 10 people. However, what happens if you have 2 people who want to leave the city? What are you going to do? If there's 11 people in the city, 2 people want to leave, who gets the choice to leave? Who gets the chance?
Make a go.
In Beis Reitzim Lotzes, Shneihem Soichem Echel B'Shutus LaHashem Amim B'Koimam. Both of them together need to hire someone to be instead of them. So they have to pay half.
It's cheaper, yeah.
V'Shneim Yifru B'Shava. They should pay equally. If hiring someone to come to that city cost $1,000, they each have to pay $500. Afilu echad ani ve'echad ash, even though one is poor or one is rich, we don't differentiate in the price. We don't say because he has more money, the percentage, the richer person will have to pay more when it comes to this issue. Everyone needs to obligated to complete the minyan, whether you're poor, whether you're rich. There's no differentiation. So there's no differentiation in the price.
But why they have to pay? Not the community divide.
You are. It's 10 people. That's it.
Yeah, but I'm a human being. I want to get out.
Good, but now
You want
why is the fault of the 9 people remaining?
They're not gonna have a mean because of you.
So
now they have to pay.
Va'ad Knesset, they have to get together money.
This is the bad. The 9 people. That's it. Talking about situation. That's it. You ever go upstate New York? You see this, the policeman, the fire department. It's one person.
Everything is one.
Now, what happens, Rabbi Isai? This is all talking about, till now, we're talking about a city which has 10 people, a city which has 11 people. What about a city which l'chatchila only has 8 or 9 people?
They never
They live in the city, never have a minyan.
in
So
other
they
words,
need to hire.
force
They need to
hire
hire people to bring in. They can't force it. These people don't live there. So they need to hire people.
No,
So who's going to pay? Who's going to pay for these people to come join the minyan? Get some bachram to come to become part of the minyan. How are we going to divide the payments?
All equally.
So we say it's different. Over here, there's a svara to say that the poor person should pay the same as the rich. And there's a svara to say no, the poor person doesn't have to pay. Because the poor person can pick himself up and he can leave, he can go to another city to hear the Yomim Noraim. The rich person needs to stay, watch his businesses and his property, so he can't leave. It's not easy for him to leave. He's a big businessman. So, therefore, because there's a svara this way, there's a svara that way, we divide the payments. Half of the payment for those extra 1 or 2 people that we're going to bring into the city, we're going to divide equally between the two, the ani and the ashir. The other half, we're going to make the richer person pay more. It'll be percentage. We'll see it inside. Avol. If in the city there only lives 8 or 9 people, and they're hiring 1 or 2 people to complete the minyan, then it's not equal. Half of it we pay based on everyone's how much money you have. The rich person pays more. The other half of what it costs, the fee nefashis, is based on just the people, meaning every single person of the 8, 9 people in the city will have to pay equally. Why? Why do we do it like this? Ki yesh svara, on one hand, there's a svara, there's a logic to say, Sha'ani chayav b'ashlam es minyan kamasher. The poor person is obligated to pay for the minyan, just like the poor person. V'yesh svara, loimer, on the other hand, there's another svara to say, Sha'ani yachalei l'chayah. The poor person can go to a nearby city. He can pick himself up. It's not a big deal for him to go and leave. V'ashir, however, the rich person, he can't leave his house and his properties. He needs to be there. He's a chashiv person. So therefore, maybe he should pay more. Because the poor person doesn't mind. He says, listen, there's no minyan here. I'm going to go away. I don't want to pay. I don't want to have to pay. The poor person says, for me, the rich person, I can't just run around and leave. I have things to do in the city. Halkain, therefore, asu pshara zeis. Therefore, the Paiskim made this pshara, this,
The 15.
I don't know how you call pshara in English, compromise, very good.
Compromise, yeah.
Made this compromise that 50% of the money will be divided equally, and if other 50% of the money to hiring these people to come will be divided based on how much money they have. Now, Mashain Kanim Kishadaran coming in Shalom, however, the halacha is different, like we explained earlier. When you have a full minyan in the city, we don't do it that way. And one person wants to leave. Ein echad mehem nashoy levata minyan. Even if someone wants to leave, he says, I'm going to go to a minyan in another city, he can't leave.
The minyan here.
So it doesn't matter whether you're poor or rich. That person has to pay to hire someone. Sivchov Dalet. Now this is all about making sure there's a minyan. Up until now, the halachas we spoke about making sure there's a minyan left in the city. Or hiring, if there is no minyan, to hire people, how do we deal with it? However, and these situations could come up in out-of-town places. The question is, what about paying for the Chazan? You know, Yomim Noraim, the shuls hire a Chazan. He needs to be paid.
Who's paying for it?
Who's paying for it? And he's leaving town. He has to pay for it. He's not going to be able to enjoy, to hear the beautiful davening of the Chazan. So should he pay for it or no?
How many Chazanim coming from Israel to America? Different shul. They're paying. My brother-in-law used to come from Israel. He used to have $10,000, Massachusetts.
Wow. Yeah, Chazan is a big thing.
He Yemenite, he davened in Ashkenaz. He used to come to us and take Kozovitsky's CDs and tapes, listen to different things. He used to do it there. A lot of years. Every fifth year, they pay for his wife too, for my sister. To come.
Say there was a special Chazan in the city of Lubavitch, Rabbi Yechiel the Chazan. This Rabbi Yechiel, he davened very special davening, very heartful davening. He davened very loud and strong. One time there was a fire broke out in the shtetl. So someone said fire, fire. So everyone ran out. The only people that were left inside was the Chazan. He didn't notice anyone left. He was still Chazan, and the Rebbe also. The Rebbe's davening. He's also not aware what's going on. So the Rebbe Rashab and maybe the Rebbe Marash, Yechiel the Chazan, they stayed. They were the only ones left.
Was it a false alarm or was it real?
I don't know. He said with this Chazan, I think when it would come to Hakoyanim, it was a certain part of the davening. When he would say davening, people there would feel they were trembling from it. So people attributed always to this Rabbi Yechiel. So the Rebbe Shab explained that it had to do with Rabbi Yechiel the Chazan. It's true, but really it had to do with my father. The Rebbe at that time was thinking special kavanis, and when he was davening, that affected the oilam. But the oilam affected the crowd. But the oilam felt it was the Chazan, but it was a lot had to do with the Rebbe. Yeah, Sivchov Dalet. Kol hayotzim be'inyan shetzrichim lisker acher b'mkoimel. Any people that leave a city who are required to hire someone else, right? Whenever there's 10 people in the city, and you want to, and then one person wants to leave, he needs to hire someone. Or when you have 11 people in the city, but 2 people want to leave, and they both need to hire someone. They also have to pay for the chazan.
They get punished.
Not only do they have to pay that someone else should come and be there instead to make the minyan, because they're ruining the minyan, they also have to pay for the chazan in the city, because every year they pay. Now you decide to say you want to go away, so you want to throw it on us? You should stay here, and you'll enjoy your chazan. If you don't want to stay, okay, you don't have to stay, but you have to pay.
So you have to buy seats even if you don't.
The seats you don't have to buy. That doesn't say in Shulchan
But you
Aruch.
pay
It's
for
a
the
nice,
cha- you
it's a
pay
nice
for the
thing.
chazan.
Yeah,
It's a nice thing to support the shul, but you don't have
But they
to.
can't
Put it
say
inside.
they don't like to collect for the chazan. They don't have a way of saying please pay for the chazan. So
Okay.
seats means paying for the chazan. It's wrong.
Only thing over here is we have to know how it works. In Shulchan Aruch only talks about when the 10th person is leaving the city. There's only 10 people in this town, and the 10th person is leaving the Yomim Noraim. They can be left to Minyan. And we say he's mechuyev to pay someone to come in instead of him. If he wants to leave, he cannot leave the city because he can leave without a Minyan. If he wants to leave, he wants to go to his Rebbe, he wants to go somewhere, he has to bring someone instead of him. And not only that, he has to make sure to pay the dues for the chazan. The question is today, when you have a bigger shul, when there's plenty of people there and someone wants to leave, you're going to say he has to pay for the chazan? There's a full minyan there. I don't know if that's the case, you would have to pay b'chol. It's an issue you have to pay. B'chol or not.
This is only for Yomim Noraim?
Only Yomim Noraim, because only Yomim Noraim, there were these kehillah, these villages, that even if they wouldn't have a minyan a whole year, they would make sure to hire someone to have a minyan, to bring a minyan there. Now, even someone who leaves a long time before Yom Tov, he goes away a month before. He needs to give both for paying the schar hashlich tzibur, the money for the chazan, as well as shlama samin to make sure that someone's there to be for the minyan. Just as if he left close to Yom Tov. Since kivin shlo be until the basis, since you're not going to be back for Yom Tov in your household, doesn't make a difference how long before you left. You know you're not going to be home, so you have to pay for everything. Now, what happens if he wants to come back home, but he has a aynus? Something he's forced to stay where he is. He bets and wants to be back. He likes the shul, he likes the chazan, but he's forced to stay where he is. Is he forced to now participate in making sure there's a minyan? Because he now is the 10th man, he's gone. Is he forced to pay for the chazan? They don't let him into the country. They say you can't come in. You have to have a green card. You have to have this. Potter afilu higi izman haregel. It's Potter even when it comes to the time of the Yom Tov, he's not there. Uhu shu onus mamish. However, it has to really be an onus. It has to be really a case where he wasn't able to come in. It was because he owed money. So if he owed money, they're not letting him, so you pay up your debt. If she was negligent, so it's your fault. You caused it for yourself, so then, lo yafsidu chaveru chelkem. Your other fellows in this city are not going to be able to lose out on it. That's your fault. You owe money. You were negligent. That's why they're not letting you in the country, so you have to pay up. It's your fault. It's your shuld.
Like in Russia today, if you're a shliach and you speak on the phone, you have to be careful what you say on the phone. I look like they'll kick you out of the country.
That's what happened with him?
Yeah, he spoke on the phone something. He spoke to Lazar. They said to him, you told Lazar one thing and you told him something else, the opposite. Like babies.
What, you told us one thing?
No. The conversation between him and Lazar was one thing, and then you told him something else. It's contradictory.
You mean they listened to him?
They listened in like petty, yeah. He said the only difference between now and then is now. The worst case scenario, they don't kill you. They'll make your life miserable. They'll throw you. They won't throw you in jail. They'll throw you out. They'll throw you out of the country. So is that an oinus? That's the question. Is that a pshia? I don't think so.
He couldn't know that they're listening on the phone. Maybe he should have known. You're in Russia.
They said today in America, every phone call that you make, they listen to you. They tap you.
Yeah.
It's not true?
Except for the persons on the
They
other line.
listen, but they're not. They whatever. They could
Tap.
listen if they want to listen. They're not looking for anything.
So why they listen? They don't look.
They're looking for terrorists. They don't listen. They have the ability to listen if they want to listen.
Yeah.
Some people want them to
And
listen
the
to
problem, when
them
they went to
for the
Russia, a lot of the shluchim went to Russia during the communist times. So when they went to these hotels, tourists used to come to Russia, they put them up in special hotels. These hotels were special where the KGB could watch you the whole time. And every floor there's an agent, and all the rooms were
The
bugged.
room.
Yeah, and you had a tour guide that took you around. The tour guide was an agent, and they had you watch the whole time. So those who didn't know anything didn't know, but those who knew. So they came into the rooms and they needed to talk. They wouldn't talk to each other anything private because they knew it's bugged. But to write down is also a problem because you leave over the paper and you have to be careful. So they used to buy, they have in there for the children.
Etch-a-sketch.
Yeah, these things where you can write on paper and then you pick it up, and it removes the
It's a
the writing. They have these papers. You write on the paper and you pick it up. So. Ein koifin lisker lahashamin b'Yomim Noraim. We only force to keep a minyan only during Yomim Noraim. And as well, not only Yomim Noraim, but another condition only when it's one or two people. But if it's more than one or two people, we're not obligated to go and pay for people. Elim came minik kavua be'ir lochol liska fil v'sad and gimadal. Unless there's a minik kavua in that city that even 3-4 people were missing, you pay for it. But usually, people don't
Only on two.
pay for so much. So if the city only has 6-7 people in the city, you cannot force people to go bring the minyan. You want a minyan, go to travel to nearby city and you'll get a minyan. If it's 8 or 9 people living there, yes, you can force everyone living there to help pay the funds to bring them. Ablam yesh minyan shalom yesh v'ir. What happens in a city? What about a whole year long? You have one of these out of town places where a city which you have only a minyan, just a minyan. And what happens if someone doesn't show up? There's no minyan. If the guy decides he's not showing up, he's lazy, whatever it is, his schedule. It doesn't make it hard for him to make it to shul. So there's no minyan of the whole shul. It's not only he didn't daven with a minyan. The whole shul, it's over here in New York. So you come, you don't come, there's a minyan without you. Huh?
This goes on like that.
Right. So if there is a minyan shalom b'yeshve'ir, then you can force them, koif and liska you force everyone part of that minyan to hire a chazan, because if you need a chazan for a whole year, those shuls used to hire a chazan a whole year, it was a minhag. Afilu kol hashana, not only Yomim Noraim, even an entire year, kedei l'spal sham tam b'asara, to always daven there with 10 people.
What does that have to do with hiring a chazan? Because if you hire a chazan...
No, a place which has a minyan a whole year.
Well, that's a separate din.
Separate than a new din. A place that has a minyan a whole year, you could force them to hire a chazan, everyone. Because they need a chazan.
Like Samuel.
For Yomim Noraim.
Samuel has a
Not for the whole year.
He's a chazan.
A whole year even for a whole year.
Why you need a chazan? And everybody.
We don't need. But those days it wasn't so. There was always common.
To read, so.
It was not. It was very common. You still have in the big shuls today where they have chazanim their whole year, not only Yomim Noraim. Yomim Noraim they have an extra special chazan, but the whole year they have the special chazan.
Remember?
Okay.
It's not negeh for us. You're right. V'chein bokim shein minyan tameh beis hakneses. What happens if you have a place where there's not always a minyan? Meaning there's 10 people in the city, but some people are not coming. They're not showing up. So what should it be? There's not going to be a minyan here. Koifin zeh beknoses shivoyu tamid l'minyan beis hakneses.
Wow.
She's battle hatamid. You can force give knas penalties. Knesses give penalties to each other to make sure that the minyan is not stopped.
This is the weekday and everything.
This is the whole year, 100%, the whole year, every day.
During the week.
Tamid.
I know upstate New York,
Should
I
always
used to be
daven.
in bungalow colony. During the week, they didn't have so many men. All the men went out. I was there the whole summer.
Right.
Somebody took upon himself to call and to make sure the 10 men would come. They used to call.
Right.
Half
I
an
got an
hour
example.
before. Yeah,
I got
that's
an
good.
example. You have in the bungalow sometimes over here, upstate. People go away to Bungalow County, and during the week, most of the men
Not
go
there.
to the city.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have that there are exactly 10 men there. If some person decides he's not coming in, he's sleeping in or
It's no
something,
good.
be a big problem. So the community has a right to make bylaws, and they can say you don't come, we charge you $50 or we charge you
You don't go to
$10.
the pool.
So they can give them penalties, knossos, yeah.
Or we sent 2 guys to come pick you up. Yeah, they did it. They did it for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm tired, so we're coming to pick you up. Coming, we wake up the whole bungalow. So you better get up. We had a Minyan.
יישובים שצריכים לזכור מינyan Mashiach ציבור. Those villages that need to hire a minyan and a Mashiach tzibur. ויש סביבוי שלגילים לובי גם כן שם מבייסם. And there are people from nearby towns that don't have a minyan that are accustomed every year to come and join that minyan. They are not members of that shul, really. They don't live there. They just come to join the minyan. Those people ain't tzrichim litin klum al yishuv. They do not need to pay for anything. It's a freebie for them. They don't need to pay for hire someone to come to minyan. Let's say even when they come, it's only 9, 8, and they still need another person for the minyan. They don't have to pay, and they don't have to pay for the chazan. Shem hayu writes, if they wanted to, hayu hoychem le'ir acheres, they can go to another city. It's their prerogative whether they want to come to that city. Sheyei shamim beladam. Well, they can go to another city which has a minyan without, and they won't have to pay anything. As well, not only for the minyan, but they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay for hiring a chazan. Because even without them, they need to hire a chazan. And what happens if they decide that year they're not coming? They have no chiyuv, no obligation to come to join this minyan. It happens to be they travel every year to come to join the minyan. But they don't have to. Agav, this is also common. Yomim Noraim, people would travel to the bigger cities for minyan, from the smaller villages that have a minyan. It was also for the Parsha Zocher and Parsha Para. It was important to come because the Chiv Deraisa, so they would come in from the city, whatever city they are, to come join to hear Parsha Zocher and Parsha Para. The Megillah, one of the reasons why originally Megillah Nikras, Misha says in the beginning of Mesachos Megillah, the Megillah Nikras, Aleph, Beis, Gimel. Why did Chazal give times that you could read Megillah earlier? Because people from the smaller villages don't have a minyan there, so they give them time that they can come inside town to hear the Megillah. They would come on the market days, come and bring their produce, their wares to sell on Mondays and Thursdays. So on the Mondays and Thursdays before Purim, they give them a day that they can read. Therefore, there were earlier dates given to read the Megillah, so they could be able to come in and hear. Because this is an issue. It didn't have by them someone who could read the Megillah, or didn't have a minyan.
You don't need a minyan for the Megillah, though.
Right. We didn't have someone to read. How to read.
That would.
Didn't have a Baal Koida.
Right.
Yeah, but Berov Amadrat Melech.
No, but that you can't be chayiv. You can't chayiv Abba Gifarov. The Ikar was they didn't know how to read Megillah, so they need to come to town to have someone.
But nowadays, in Purim, you see the shul is full. Morning, afternoon, night. People coming to
Because
it.
they need to bring their kids.
Yeah. Okay, so we finished the Simon Baruch Hashem. Let's take a look at the next Simon. Simon Nun Vav.
Yeah, Kaddish.
Din Aniyas HaKaddish Aidei HaKol. The halachas of answering Kaddish. Tzarech Lizar Ma'oid B'Aniyas HaKaddish. Wants to be very careful with answering Kaddish. Hashemeya, someone who listens to Kaddish and he doesn't answer. Ubenidim Em Yoyim is an excommunication for 40 days.
Why is this in parentheses?
Not sure. Yesh lishtad loretz l'shmei kaddish. A person should run to hear kaddish. Shekedushas hakaddish gedoyla mikol hakedushas.
Wow.
The holiness of kaddish is holier than all other kedushas. Ishyoyser mitzvah b'niyas hakaddish b'niyas kedusha. There's more of a mitzvah to answer kaddish than to answer kedusha.
Why, you mean Nakdishach?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's
So why is
unbelievable.
that?
Well, it's free life.
Let's see. Komakim yeshel beis beis hakneses. Beis hakneses. Bate hakneses. Shebe'echad megim lekadish she'achash shmonasei. One is going to reach, is holding by kaddish after shmonasei. Ube'echad the other shul megim lekadusha. They're coming up to kedusha. Yelech v'yanek kedusha. Go and answer kedusha. Why? Not because of the kedusha. Kisham yishagam a kaddish achash shmonasei. You'll get a double hitter. You'll hear the kaddish, the kedusha, and you hear kaddish
Yeah,
achash
but you should
shmonasei.
bring an example that it's either or. So you're saying that the answer is clear. That you would hear Kaddish before Kedusha. But that doesn't come
That's
out
what it
from here.
seems. That's what it seems. It seems you show your mitzvah, but it's a kaddish, and it's a
Some
kedusha.
people don't talk during Nakdishach, but they talk during Kaddish. So you're saying that's a big mistake.
What they're saying of the Kaddish. What they're saying of the Kaddish.
I want to talk during kaddish.
Because Kedusha is like the Malachim.
Screaming at a woman.
So everybody
Nobody
feel
talks
like
during-
we're doing
So
Malachim.
one of these guys told him, he said, Keser and Nakdishach b'tata mazin. Because really, la halacha, it's not any less to talk during Chazar Shas than to talk during Hata Mazel. So Markowitz, one of these guys, he's a Vechterist, and he said, Hata Mazel.
Siv Beis. Yishlchaven heite b'amini shirabah. A person should have a lot of kavana. They say amini shirabah. Shekol ha'oina amin yehesh meirabah b'chol koyach kavanase, with all his koyach of his kavana. Koiden loy gezar dinoi shel shivim shana. A gezar din of 7 years, the decree will be torn up for him. Yishlani says b'karam. He should say it loudly. Shekoil zeh shoiver kol makatagim. This sound of answering Misharabah has the power to destroy all the prosecuting angels against him.
You know, Sfaradim, when they answer Yeshem Merabah, they answer the whole thing. Ashkenaz only half. You know that?
Yeah. Mavato kol, we'll see soon about it. Mavato kol gezedes koshes. And it's mavato all harsh decrees. The sound. You come up to eat in koilos gdoilis, or don't go. You have to say it loudly, but don't scream. Actually, sloitz up and elden. They'll make people laugh. Meyigalim chait. That will be what cause them a chait. They're going to be laughing while davening. So don't do anything strange. Just
Normal.
loudly,
You're
yeah.
laughing at somebody saying Yehesh Meirabah.
Loud. Abnormally loud.
There's certain batei midrashim, so their minig is certain chassidish kehilas.
Stalin.
That they scream the davening
Oh.
very loudly while davening. They say it was one of the rebbes one time walked by, and he heard them screaming. So he said, "And forget mit Gutens. Did they try already? Did they try first to try to do nicely first to ask? You know, scream at the Eibishter. First try.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It also says in Halacha that if you say Shemon Esrei, and you're by yourself, you're not going to disturb other people. You should say it loud. If it's going to you're going to have more kavanah.
Right.
Mit Guttens, that's a
So
type in
maybe
Yiddish.
they feel they have more kavanah when they say it loud.
Mashmiya le'oznav.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mit Guttens, that would be an expression of, did you say it like regular? Mit Guttens, that's in Yiddish, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't.
When was
It's not screaming.
It was
Be
in this
nice.
generation?
Be nice. No. For
So
the
after we
Chabad,
incorporates the two opinions of Rashi Tosfos regarding Yesh Meirabah. One says you should have with
one says.
Koicho. Said
Here it's Rashi.
the Chol Chavanasai?
they should have also B'chol Ram too.
Right, but it doesn't say-
I think it says in the Mishnah.
But it doesn't say Koil Migzardin Shemshana. Right? When it comes to the Kavana, he tells you
B'chol Kol.
destroys Exardin of 70 years. Doing it B'Koil Ram helps to Mevatel say it's cautious. It doesn't say clearly that Nakodas. I think it's going with Shittas Rashi.
I think it says Chol Chavanasai.
Siv Gimel. Yehesh Meirab Avarach Le'olam Amaya. Who Targum, what it is the Aramaic translation of the words Yehi Shemoi Hagadol, may his great name Mevoirech be blessed La'olam forever, La'olam Elam, forever and ever. That's what it means. Should not make a hefsek between the two. And not to stop in the middle of the phrase.
What about Yisbarech? It doesn't say.
One does not need to say it in one breath. According to Shulchan Aruch, we'll talk a little bit more about
So
Yisbarech.
why they say it in Aramaic and not regular
We'll talk
Hebrew?
in Siv Zayin about.
Originally, they used to say it in Hebrew. You learn in the beginning of Masechet Brachot.
So what happened?
It got changed. Nobody really knows how or why it changed, but it did. But you see, in the Masechet Brachot, they quote it.
Because people did not understand.
People
People did not understood. People spoke Aramaic.
According to Chassidus, it's probably a higher level.
Davening to Aramaic than
Aramaic is probably a higher level.
No, on the contrary, because Aramaic is on a lower level.
According to Chassidus?
I don't know.
According to
According to Kabbalah, Aramaic is on a lower level. It's the Achorayim of Lashon Kodesh, and it's on a lower level. So you do in Aramaic, it smashes the klipot because the klipot understand it.
Okay, so maybe that's the reason.
In their own language.
Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, but now nobody speaks Aramaic, so why don't transfer to normal Hebrew? Like the other
So
three.
what do you learn Gemara for? Just translate.
Okay, the base come. Tzarech loimer mevarach habeis bekamatz. The second, when we say mevarach, you say the beis bekamatz, the reish with a patach. She'oz pirushe kemay mevurach.
Mevarach.
Shemiyoyim reish b'tzeirei pirushe shivarach acherim. When we talk about, when we say with a reish, if you say mivarech, mivarech is when you bench someone else. You bless someone else. We're not talking about someone else. No, Hashem's name is blessed. Not that Hashem's name is blessing someone else. We're saying Hashem's name is gebenched. It's blessed. It's mevorach.
And
Mevorach.
benching.
V'tzarech loymar la'olam kamatz ba'ayin. We say la'olam la'kamatz.
Olam.
Not la'olam, la'olam.
H made up Mevarach Yolam.
Yesh loymar ula'olamei bevav.
Ulam.
Ula'olamei. Mitzvah HaKadosh Yilishmoyim and Asher Tzibur Yizgadol Valzei Yanel Meishmerabba Varach Shomin Heishmerabba. The mitzvah of Kaddish is
Heishmerabba is the main.
Heishmerabba is the ikar of Kaddish. Shomin Heishmerabba is the ikar. Shomin Heishmerabba Hu Aniya Al Yizgadol. You're saying someone. The Chazan says Yizgadol Shmerabba, meaning Hashem's name should become great and be made great. And that's what we do. We show how we're making Hashem's name great. We say, Hey Shmei Rabba. V'tzarech l'shmoya, you have to listen. L'chavan amal oina. To be mechavan, have kavana onto what you're answering. K'may shetzarech atchila, l'shmei l'chavan l'bracha she'in alav amin. Any bracha which you're answering amin to, you're supposed to l'chatchila have kavana. And if you don't have kavana, you can still answer amin. L'tchila, you should try to have kavana. Also, Shiach Tzibur should also say it. He should also say it like everyone else says it. He should also say it. The Kama came. It's even though we're comparing it to Amen. When you answer Aniyas Amen, you can answer Amen, even if you don't know what the bracha is. You don't understand it. You're not having kavanah. But still different in another aspect.
What's Amen?
Amen.
Amen means it's true.
Yeah.
If you make a bracha, it's true what you're saying. That's it.
But we are saying it's true. We're bringing it to us. Someone comes to shul. He didn't hear the Chazan saying, Yizgadol, everyone should make Hashem's name great.
No problem.
He didn't hear that. You're still allowed to answer. You still should answer. Answer together with everyone else. Since it prays for itself, you're making even though it's set up to say as an answer to Yizgadol, but in and of itself it's a praise to Hashem. So you could say it even if you didn't hear the Chazan saying Yizgadol. But it's not the same way by a bracha, by the way. By a bracha, If you don't hear the bracha, even if you hear other people saying Amen, you don't say Amen.
Don't say.
By the Baruch Hu also, if you hear Baruch Hu, you don't even if you didn't hear the Chazan saying Baruch Hu, you hear everyone else saying Baruch Hu, you could also answer. Elim Avalo Yana Ami Hishvarabah when can Yochel Chavan Daiti Shiyeh Dalanes Al Kaddish. But you should only say Ami Hishvarabah if you're able to have kavana that you know that you're answering on Kaddish. Sha'ah Zeina Amin Yisayim V'Diavad.
You mean?
It's not considered Amin Yisoima, an orphaned Amin, which has no bracha attached to it. Af b'shasham, even though you didn't hear the Kaddish, kivin sheyadei al ma'ani, you know on what you're answering. Even though you didn't hear it, it's okay. Tchila, it's possible for you to hear. You have a chiyuv to go and hear actually the Chazan saying is gadol, not just the answer Amin Yisharabah. Well, he shouldn't rely on the fact that he should give him a chav in his mind afterwards. Therefore, we should tell off those that are talking. When the Shliach Tzibur starts saying Kaddish, even when there is a minyan, without him, you still should not be talking during Kaddish.
But it's not as strict as talking during Chatzos HaShatz. That he has other words to say about that.
Let's see right now. If you don't have 9 people listening to the Sheikh Tzibur, lo yomer klal Kaddish. You cannot say Kaddish. Shekol davar shebakdusha yev shalomer pachas miyud. Tash shoymim ve'echad omer.
You did another? You need 10.
That's why you say well.
And 9 people listening, one says. If you say lahaz lo omer va'ata yigdal na zacher v'gomer, sheyemer koidem shiziyascha Sheikh Tzibur is gadol. Those people who say, are some people familiar with this minig? Minig Ashkenaz. They say these psukim. You say it not during Kaddish.
Where does it say?
Before is gadol.
When does it say?
Not on our Sidurim, it's not. Maybe there's certain kehillas which still have a minute to say it. L'mais is when it comes to Kaddish, Baruch Hu, L'poyol, you need to have 10 people in the room. But only 6 people need to answer. If the other 4 people are not able to answer because they're holding in parts of davening, which you're not allowed to answer, to Amin Ishmarabba, is still considered part of the minyan. Even if one person's davening Shemona Esrei, he's also part of the minyan. If he's sleeping, we had a discussion a few shiurim ago whether if someone's a yashin, if his shechina, his neshama goes l'mayla. So the question is, if could be mitzad if someone who's sleeping to be a part of the bnei bris, to be part of the minyan. So that's a shaila. But l'maisa, someone who's davening, he's for sure here. We have the shechina shoyer on 10 people, but he cannot answer as long as you have majority roiv for the minyan 6. You have roiv, rubi kakuli, roiv. You could daven. You could say kedusha and baruch hu, and you could say kaddish. However, for chazaras hashatz, you need to have 9. Chazaras hashatz is unique, like we spoke before. You need to have specifically 9 people who could physically answer.
Well, why? Chazarat Hashem is for people who don't know how to read. That's why they did Chazarat Hashem.
And because of that very reason, it was originally instituted and set up that you actually have to have 9 people that need to hear it, that are listening to it. Not just I'm saying it. So today, people don't need, but if you're not going to have people listening to it, it's going to be karev to bracha v'tala. The Alter Rebbe uses a lashon from the Rosh. The Rosh says it's karev, it's close to being a bracha v'tala. So therefore, it's be careful.
Rabbi, you mentioned that if you have 9 people listening to shots, and one person's in the middle of Shemona Esrei, they can still say Kaddish. But the person who's in the middle of Shemona Esrei has to stop and listen. Stop. It says, "Im ein tish and test and shining." When our tish they're listening. So if he's saying Shemona Esrei, how can you be listening? If he's saying,
I'm not sure. Good question. I'm not sure.
Well, you could stop in the middle of Shemona Esrei and listen. like you do with Kaddish when you hear Kedusha. That's the dim Kedusha as well, right? You're in the middle of, if you're in the middle of Shemon Esrei and the tzibor gets the Kedusha, you stop and you listen.
But you don't own it.
What?
You're not oine, you're just listening.
Right, you just listen.
Shomer ki oine.
It's the same thing here, because it says
Harris, can you turn the volume
the
down?
invitation.
So,
Shut off the phone already.
Sif Hey.
Charlie.
Yesh Oimrim. Some say,
Hammer to it.
Shein Tzarech Lamed Kishaoinen Kaddish. Baruch Hu. One does not need to stand when you say Kaddish or Baruch Hu. Hel Shakol Kaddish. Shetov Soy Ma'umid.
Yes, you stand.
Any Kaddish which you, Shas the Kaddish started, you were standing, you're not allowed to sit for the Kaddish. You have to stand. Going, for example, Shlacher Halal. You're already standing for Halal. And after Halal you say Kaddish. You're not allowed to sit down after Halal before Kaddish. You have to stay standing for Kaddish. It's not that a cheretz that you should go and sit down right before Kaddish. That's according to one shita. So this shita is very makel. You don't need to stand b'chalal for Kaddish. However, Yeshayim others say sheyesh lamed that one should stand kishayin Kaddish or kol davar shekadusha, anything of kedusha like Baruch Hu kedusha. Sheyishlu mekabel choymer me'eglim melech moyev eglim melech moyev. Was it Yehu? Someone came to Eglim melech moyev and he said that he has to bring him Dvar Hashem. He's bringing him the word of the Dvar Hashem. And when he heard that, he was a big Rasha melech moyev. When he heard that he's bringing something in the name of Hashem, he already stood up. He killed him then when he stood up. He killed him. But the thing, he stood up. He heard the name of Hashem. Shekam me'atzmoi ma'al kisei l'divrei Hashem. He stood up from his throne to hear the word of Hashem.
Why Sfaradim doesn't
Kol
know?
shekein anachnu amoi. For sure, we who are the nation of Hashem, when we're hearing someone saying Kaddish or Baruch Hu Kedusha, so you hear the Dvar Hashem, we should stand up. It's better to be concerned for the latter opinion's words than to stand up. So that's why people stand up when it comes to Amen Yehei Rabba. They stand up or they lift themselves up from their seat based on this, for this shita. You have to stand.
So why Sfaradim doesn't hold at all? They don't stand at all in the Kaddish.
No?
No Kaddish, no?
Not by Amen Yehei Rabba. They go on like the first shita. The first sheet is like the Arizal. The Arizal hold like the first sheet. The Sfaradim must probably follow the Arizal.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to Ma'ariv.